Hello, welcome back to Design Elements and Principles. Boy, I started that one because you know what I was thinking about? Studio session. What number is this? We are on session 6, and we're going to talk about value. Let's do it how we normally do it. We'll work from reverse. We'll talk about everything that's going on. Make sure you fully understand each and every project, and that way you can succeed in this class. I'm going to go through everything as I normally do. Let's get to it. Graphic design, quick challenge session. As I say, for each one of these, please, oh please, use the internet to help you get your answers correct. Each one, there's 5 questions, each worth 20 points. You are allowed to use the internet. What is branding? Using patterns, coding a website, choosing colors, creating a unified identity for a product or company. I'm pretty sure it's that one. And then continue. There you go. I gave you guys a freebie. Do that. There's no reason to not get an A on that. It should take you 5 minutes total. Get in, get it done, look it up. No worries there. Just do it. It's super easy and simple. Again, textbook. I know it says textbook, but the textbook is included. What? Yeah, I include the textbook in there. We're talking about grid. Grid is pretty important. Grid, some people love it. Okay, pretty important. I use a base grid, as we'll talk about in session 8 or 9. But there are people who go grid crazy that really like doing it. There are books on the grid system. It's a whole graphic design thing. There's kind of like 2 camps. It's a love it, hate it kind of thing. Like there's people who use grids all the time, people who don't. People are indifferent about it, but yeah, very funny. Give it a peruse. You just click on that PDF and read it through. There you go. You know what to do. You've done it before. It's all there for you. Easy peasy. Design practice 6. What are we up to? Gail Anderson? No, Paula Scheer. Wonderful female designer. Let's check out what we got to do on this one. I'm going to just click on that. I've heard in the past sometimes if you are having a problem and it's telling you cannot connect, do one of 2 things. Close out your browser completely, not just the tabs, but completely close it out. If you're using Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera, whatever it may be, just close out the entire program, reopen it, relog in. It should work again. If you're still having troubles, restart your computer. Take a couple minutes. Go have a sip of tea, come on back, restart your computer. Things will normally work again. That's the best way to do it. That's the way I live my life. It's just like, oh, it's not working, restart it. It's a computer. It's not it's like you in the morning. Go to bed, got to restart you. Wake up. All right. So kind of think of that as you. It's been on all day. It's getting tired. It needs a restart. That's a great way to think about it. So always feel free. So as I normally do, here's my downloads. And then I go to the zip. I'm going to, for a Mac, I double click. For a PC, you right click and hit extract all. I'm going to double click. It's extracting it. Then I get a folder and I get an INDD. As we all know, what does INDD stand for? In design. I don't know why there's a second D. In design. And I'm sure on this one we're going to have a lot to place in. We've moved up to a new level. So let's open up Paula Scheer. Let's move it on over. It opened on a second screen for me, so I have to hit OK. And I'm going to move it on over. And it looks like I'm missing the photo and the 3 examples. So let's get started the way we normally do. I'm going to lock everything but the title. And I'm going to slowly move the title over. Get it in position. It locks in, or her name locks in pretty right into that corner. And then I'm going to grab the Scheer and get that to lock in. Photos, we don't have them yet, but we do have the body copy. So I'll move the body copy over. Again, just getting it close. And then I'm going to zoom in, double check it. That is spot on there. Maybe that's No, I liked it one down. It averages out a little bit better over the examples in the background. Well, I can't put in the background until I put in my examples. So let's start with the photo. I'm going to go to the photo layer, and I'm going to make sure it's unlocked, but I can see it. See that right there? I can see it. There's no lock on it at photo. So then you simply go to File and Place. In Place, I'm going to find the Polisher image. So I have to go to my computer for this one because I don't have it saved on the cloud. And I'm going to go to Downloads, Polisher, Links, and the PS Photo, Polisher Photo. And there it is. It's a single photo, so it only shows a 1, and I'm just going to click once. Now it's humongous. Here's the quick way to go about this. With the select tool, I'm going to just simply in this box up here at the top, type in 25. That brings her image down 75%, which makes it manageable. Now I'm going to go and put it in the corner that it needs to live. Simple as that. Then I'm going to go to the free transform tool, or you can hit E on the keyboard. E on the keyboard is the free transform. See that little E? When you see a letter next to the name, if you hit that key on your keyboard, the tool will switch to that. It's pretty amazing. It speeds up your process. Instead of going here, there, the other place, you can hit V for the select tool, I think, and direct select is A. Some of these overlap per program. And as always, when we reduce something, we make it smaller by grabbing a corner or a side. We always hold down that shift. What does shift mean? Shift constrains it. Constraining means it keeps the scale proper. It doesn't allow us to make her fat, make her skinny. It keeps the correct proportion of the image while reducing the size. It is of utmost importance that you never change an image unless the person who gives you the image says that you can. There's copyright, all sorts of things. So we just don't do it. Same with typography. We just don't do stuff like that if we don't need to. Now we need to get these examples. There's 3 examples, as we all know, and I'm going to go to File, Place. Oh, just to make sure, anybody who's following along exactly, I always switch to the Select tool. I now made sure Examples is open, the eyeball is there, and there's no lock on Examples, so I can't mess up where I put this. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and I'm going to grab the 3 examples, 1, 2, and 3. I just held down Shift again. I'll do that again for you. I just hold down Shift and I go 1, Shift, 2, and 3. It allows me to grab 3 at once. And I'm going to hit Open. And I'm going to do in quick succession 1, 2, 3. Now we all know this. I do this every time. I'm going to grab the Select tool. I'm going to grab the corner. And then in this box, what I'm going to type in, 25. Why? It makes it more manageable. All right, then I can actually grab all 3 of these. I'm going to use the free transform tool, and I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to make them even smaller. Again, more manageable, and then I'll work from there. I'm going to move them over to the side, and they all need to be the same width. So we can easily start doing that. So I'm going to put in swatch first. I think that's the first one I grabbed. I'm going to go to free transform. That one sits right in the corner on the margin line, and I'm going to hold down Shift and scale it up proportionately. Wonderful. Then what I can do is I can bring in the Boston album cover, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I go to free transform, I hold down Shift, I grab the corner, and I expand it out. Now it clicked in for me right at the correct width. That made it easy. You gotta like look and see for the kind of like click in. I say feel it, but when you're moving, you'll notice a little jump. And that means that it's clicking into the proper guide system. So make sure you're feeling for that, you're watching for that. 'Cause it makes your life and job so much easier when it comes to design and getting things lined up. Like right here, it's giving me, it's very hard to see, but it is giving me the equal spacing mark here, indicator here. It was in green. It was very difficult to see, but I know it's there because it kind of locks in. Like I said, it clicks in. And then I'm going to grab the corner and shift, and I'm going to get to lock in. I went there. It's a little bit off. There we go. And then with all that, these can be set up. So I'm going to grab, and just because I can, probably maybe Paul, it could be like 1 pixel bigger. So I'm going to go to photo, click on her, make sure it's on free transform. And like I'm going to pull it just like 1 pixel. There we go. And then I can cross grab over many layers. So I'm going to do the side. I click and drag, get all of those, and I'm going to go to distribute. So I want properties and then height distribute. And there it goes. Boop, 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 boop. Everything's distributed. Proper height. All these images are equally spaced. There we have it. How far off is this? Yeah. Just put that back. There we go. Then we go, we got to put in that background. Please don't forget the background. That's like the worst. Oh, I forgot to put the background in. Because the background covers up all the schmutz. And then the background includes what we call as bleed. It includes the bleed. Then I'm going to go to File, Export. I'm going to export as a Adobe PDF print. Just call it Polish here. I'm going to hit Save. Now I'm always making sure that View PDF after exporting is turned on, and then I'm going to go to Marks and Bleeds every single time. I'm going to make sure nothing is marked, 0. We don't want a mistake bleed on there. This is not for print. This is just for show, and we make sure everything's turned off. I hit Export. That's not true. Oh, the background? Oh, the background didn't link, but this is good. We are there. We have everything we need. Lovely jubbly. And then you upload it to the assignment. The background's there. So there's 2 errors down here. This is called pre-flight. If I open up the pre-flight panel, it'll say like 2 links are there, missing 2 links. And for some reason, it does not. It's okay. But why does it say the background's not there? Let's just double check my folder. Background right there. All right, we're all good. No worries right there. No worries for us. And Paul Shear's right there. I don't know why it didn't link on this one, but it does not matter. The design still looks good. So I'm going to hit Don't Save. That was a little extra information for you. Then we got that one done. Minutes, right? Just takes a couple minutes. You can have 1, 2, 3 of these assignments done within 30 minutes. Knock them out. Instant A's. All right. We're going to jump into the value lecture. Value. We're talking about sort of tints, tones, and shades. That's the best way for me to describe it. Is it 1000% technically correct? No, but we get the idea. So we talked about color 2 classes ago. Then we switched to texture, and then now we're back to tone, which I have to switch the order of that. I won't bug you with why it's out of order. We used to follow the textbook in order, and they had it out of order, but now I changed things. But all right. Value fundamentally refers to the lightness or darkness of a color or tone. That's the way we're talking about it. Do we want to get into really scientific terms and like be really nerd out on it? Sure, if you want to, but generally in layman's terms, we will take value as the darkness or lightness of a color or tone. It refers to, it's often measured from black to white, but I'm going to show you a cool thing with color that we have to also be aware of, that you could have a full color image in which the entire tonal value of it is exactly the same, which then in the design process, you would have to question and be like, well, I need to change some of these colors because tonally they're all the same, and they're all just gonna, even though they're different colors, they might blend and they might look funny next to each other. I'll get to that. I got a cool experiment to show you. I got a cool one. I'll do it before I go over the examples on the side. How do we work with this idea of value from light to dark? And there's like from 0 to 100, right? Well, creating contrast, and creating contrast allows us to do two different things. And again, it's all about emotion. Like we are visual storytellers, and we're trying to get at people's emotions, because when we can tag an emotion, we can get them to remember something. We remember things that we have strong emotions to: happy, sad, angry, excited, whatever it may be. So we use these tools to help us. High contrast, the difference between light and dark values creates contrast. High contrast is often used to draw the attention to specific areas within a composition. I got one on the right there. It's the final one, high contrast. You can't miss it. Low contrast is like more subtle and harmonious effects. I got some examples over there of that as well. High contrast, black, white, yellow, and black, like alert, like warning, all that kind of stuff. Low contrast is like really mellow. Use low contrast. Think of like ads for the Nectar sleep bed, and it's like all of it's white and there's no like high contrast. It's soft. It's how we feel, and we can build with that. It can also, value is used to define form. So in your form project, I only allowed one value change, and that's all you need. I want to show you can start simple. I have black, I have 50% gray, and I have white. But just with those three values, I can make something look and appear as if it is 3D. When we start adding more of those gradients and schmradients and all that kind of stuff, yeah, we can make something look really gorgeous on screen or in print. And that's how it works. Now, the other one we do is establish hierarchy. And how is that done? Well, what do we tend to read first? The darkest thing. There's value in this. What you are looking here, right here, there's value in it. The role in composition is darker value than defining form, simply because there's thicker line. There's more black to it. So I can say that there is more contrast here than here. And then so in reading this, it sticks out to us more, and it established a hierarchy for reading this. So if you had a whole poster and it started out dark at the top and almost like nothing to the bottom, people would read and know I'm reading in hierarchy. They want me to read this first and this last, because the last thing we want to read is the smallest or hardest thing to read. We might not even read that. Grayscale and tonal range. Grayscale is a range of values from black to white with shades of gray in between. Awesome, we know that. Tonal range is the variation between the lightest and darker values in a composition. A wide range of tonal values adds interest. It just makes it more fun to look at, but not always. It depends. You could do the most gorgeous grayscale, and it's just as important as a piece with a lot of tonal range. But generally, it's because there's a lot of tonal range in your gray scale area. I think it's a great segment to, then I'll come back to application. So when we talk about that, I have this little experiment here. So there's a whole wide range of colors here. The colors in this top block are the exact same colors in this lower block. All different colors, we see them. You may in your head be putting like, this is darker than this is lighter than this. It just naturally happens with us, right? It just naturally happens. I'm gonna grab all these lower ones and go to edit, edit colors, and I'm going to change them to grayscale. So this is going to mathematically change all those colors that I have, which I believe when I made this, it's been a while, that I made sure there is no black included in any of these colors. But now it's going to mathematically change those colors to grayscale. And now you can see how close in value they actually are, especially the bottom ones. Can you believe that the top ones go from darkest to lightest this way when looking at them up here? And then the lower ones, darn near the exact same tonal value across the board. So tone is different than color. And then the way we see it is also different. So, you know, building on something, high contrast, high tonal value is here or here from top to bottom. And it kind of shows through a little bit, but it gets a little bit murky as well. So I love that. I think it's so interesting to see that happen and be like, oh, I didn't know that. There used to be a practice back in the day. Some people do this. If you ever heard of people like people draw a lot, like a draw, you know, from photographs, not tracing, excuse me, but draw from real life. They'll often take their piece and turn it upside down to look at it, and it gives them a better perspective. There was a period of time when it was kind of common practice to take your piece and then turn it to grayscale just to make sure that you were having enough contrast between colors and whatnot. It was easier back in the day. Don't save. That's pretty cool. The application here, values are used in layout design, typography, and image composition to create visual hierarchy and emphasis. Yes, it is. Mood and atmosphere. This is the big one right here. This is the takeaway. High key. I believe high key is a term used a lot in photography. High key is predominantly light values and can convey a sense of brightness, purity, and optimism. Low keys, design that are predominantly dark, can evoke mystery, drama, and seriousness. Well, we just finished Halloween. Halloween's like always dark and moody. Now we're in, if I may say, 2 holidays, like think of like Happy Easter and gloomy Halloween. One's dark, one's light, you know, Peeps. This is Peeps. This is Halloween. Or what's the emo? Not emo, goth. And a balance and harmony. It's about achieving a balance between light and dark that looks good. It's kind of like even that color thing I just showed you, where you got to make sure everything's working together as one. Let's check out our designs. This is one I wanted to show you. I love showing this one because it is simply 2 colors. You don't need every color under the rainbow in order to make a design that is interesting, has different textures, last class, and different values throughout it. And it's basically the black is used as the darkest black only. And then the teal color, I'm just calling it teal just to be easy, so I'm not saying like a weird word, blue. The blue is changed simply by changing its tonal value. And then that gives us a whole bunch of different tones into which we can then start to illustrate. And it makes it more interesting. We have pattern in there. We have half toning. We have solids. We have 50%. But it's only 2 colors. It is the blue and the black. And that's all that's needed. Really simple design. I'll tell you this too. This is much harder to complete and get well done than a full color drawing. So when you're like, oh, just 2 colors, that'd be easy. It's actually much harder, because then you are taking into consideration every tonal value. I have 2 colors, and where I use them, it's going to be important. So something to think about, something that, you know, try out. Well, you'll try it today in the value practice. I love kind of doing some of this overlapping if you took like some of the letters and just found the lowest point, like took them all, the letters and numbers, you took them all, separated them out, they might all be at the same tonal value. But then you start putting one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and then you start getting this whole wide range. And then you start getting other visually optical illusions start to happen. When you put a yellow on top of a blue, what does the color change? What does it turn into? So this yellow on top of this blue created an orange. Excuse me? What does yellow and blue usually make? Green. But if you see on the edge, there's some purples coming in. So they've actually doubled some of these transparencies to get a different effect. You could do this in Illustrator using, it's called blend modes in Illustrator, and it is so cool. I do it a lot in Photoshop. I use blend modes where it takes a transparency and it highlights stuff and low light, and it's super cool. But you can get these effects that we got going on is these tonal values are built up by layering different transparencies to get different effects. So it's just not straight up like one, like you can get these effects so many different ways. Here's another 2-color, 2-color. This one just far more weird, okay? It has got red to draw us in. The date and the badge. Easy peasy, red draws us in. The darkest colors on here, Supersonic Festival in Birmingham, the Gazelle Twin, darkest. And then this dissection of an eyeball to intrigue us. And then in the background, we have these weird paper pyramids photograph, but it's just subtle and gray tones in the background. Like it's just so weird, but it oddly works. And then you have like weird, like June is like a fuzzy old TV, and so is like the Gazelle Twin. You know, like so many weird and fun things are happening, but it's a 2-color print job with a lot of tonal range in it. We got it from 0 to 100, just about. So pretty cool stuff. And it just shows you don't need, you know, that's why I specifically, when I teach this course to you all, like you don't touch color until we touch color. And then even now, today in value, you're going to be doing only a single color. I'm going to teach you how to do that, the spot color again. And you're going to be just doing a single color for some illustrations. Here's a cool one. I almost call this like reverse tonal value. And you have to look at like the layers. So take it apart in your head and look at the layers. So the background layer is that if somebody took one of those spin art things and just put everything in the middle and it spun it up, spin art. And then the next layer is they devised a pattern to change the tonal value of certain areas. And by doing that, it's creating what I'd almost call a 3D effect. It's just the shape. It's only shape that is alluding to this 3D effect and the tonal value. So we're watching where the white and the black go, and it's creating with our eyes a shape that our mind says that has a foreground, a background, it has a receding point, and we add in our minds that we want to be able to grab that. And again, it's all an illusion. And then on top of that, we have the black that in the further back is actually breaking away and coming in front. And then on top of that, we have Walk the Moon and a Sun EP. All is done, different tones, layered in different effects. Super cool. Final one. Batman Begins. So dark, so moody, black and white only, but we have the parts that we need, and we have a way that you don't realize that we are directing the eye to the name of the movie. And the reason we do this is in our Western culture, we read from the top down. So what do? They put the brightest part at the top. And as we go down and we start settling down, we see another bright part right here. This is the second brightest part of the image. So we're leading down to see the main character brooding in his cave, which brings us down to the third brightest spot, which is the name of the movie. I mean, even look at that. Look how light the Batman symbol is, because you don't need to know that, do you? You don't really need to see it. We want to bring the eye in from the top, and then this gives us that sense of it's the Batcave, whatever. You know, it gives us a sense we're in a cave. Light, highlight on him, and then the brightest part at the darkest part is the name of the movie. That's all thought about. That is going through you. It may be subconscious, but that's all going through the designer's head when they're working with this. You know, they said, we're not adding yellow. We're not adding anything like that. It's with pure black and white, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have this effect. We're going to draw the eye, and you are creating a beautiful piece of artwork. All right. I didn't draw on this one at all today. That's funny. Any questions about value before we move on? All right. Value research. We are now switching. Alert, alert, alert. Presentation creation. Follow these exact steps to create your document in Illustrator, not in anything else. This is new. We are starting. We are learning how to do a document in Illustrator. All right. It is easy peasy. I'm going to walk you through it right now. And I'm only going to walk you through parts. Well, I'll do a little extra. But you've already been working in Illustrator. You know how to place an image in Illustrator. But I'll take you through a couple extra steps. But all those guides and all that stuff is there for us. You just have to start to find it. All right. So I have it on a second screen. I'm going to read through it. It says create a print document that is 16 inches wide and 9 tall. So I'm going to click on new file. And I have it here, but I'm going to hit print document. And over here, this is a very important information right here. First, sometimes it switches on me. I'm going to hit inches. And my width is 16. And my height is 9. Make sure. Now look, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did the 0.1. I'm double checking. 16 inches, 9. One artboard. Bleed. Set a bleed of a 1/2 inch, 0.5. And if I hit tab, it populates all of these for me. And that's all I need to do. And I'm going to hit create. Now, this is where things get funky, and you need to just take your time and follow each step one by one as you create a margin layer, a crop marks layer, a title layer, image layer, and background layer. And then we're going to adjust the layer order. So create a margin layer. What does that mean? I'm going to double click on layer 1 and type in the word margin. Now, I'm going to draw a box that is 15 inches wide and 8 inches tall with no fill and a 1-point magenta stroke. So I'm going to go to my box, right? This is it. It's just a rectangle. And I'm going to draw a box. And then in properties right here, I'm going to simply type in the information that is in the assignment. So it's 15, and then you can hit tab, 8, enter. All right. Then I'm going to make sure that it has no fill. So I'm going to click on this white box, and I'm going to click on the red line. That means no fill, not white. I guarantee 50% of you are going to do this and have a white box, and you're going to hear from me, and I say, make sure the box is filled with nothing. It's clear. I simply want a border with no white. Why does it matter? Because it's going to be on top of the image and you won't be able to see things below it. Why don't I put it below it? Because you need to see the margin. So when you're setting up your document, you're not putting things past the margin. That's why. There is a reason why. And it'll become more apparent to you as you work on design. You're like, oh, the margin shows me my safe space. It makes sure, and we'll learn about it in the layout lecture that we do. So the fill, absolutely no fill. The stroke, all I'm going to click on is this one right there. That's magenta. And I'm going to double make sure that it's 1 point. Now it says center a box perfectly on the artboard. It should say the, and it says You can just simply, you should be able to simply click this and this, and that perfectly centers the artboard. Now, the next thing I want you to do is turn on the ruler and pull one vertical and one horizontal guide to split this in half. That is very easy, as I will go to View and Rulers, Show Rulers. Now I have a set of rulers around the border, so I know my size. And what you're going to do is go to the ruler and see how my icon changes, my cursor changes. When it hits the arrow, I'm going to stop, click, and drag down until I get to the center point and let go. I'm going to go to the side. When my cursor changes, I'm going to click, drag, and pull to the right and let go. Now this is split this so I can tell where my center is, where my margin is, and it's all beautifully done. Now the last thing we're going to do, 50% of you are going to miss this. So I'm going to say it and just know that I will be like, did you watch the video? And you'll be like, oh, I guess I didn't see that, or I didn't know what it meant. We are going to change this layer into a template. And it's done in one simple move. I'm going to go up to this hamburger menu right here. I'm in layers, and this 3 bars right here is called a hamburger menu. That's literally what it's called. I'm not calling it. I'm not joking around. That's literally what you call a 3-lined area in which you click that more menus come out. And I'm going to simply click template. And what that does, all right, it is going to lock it and change the eyeball to this symbol right here. It's just a square and a square. That symbol now means that it is a template, and that won't show up when you export or print the document. It is, that pink box is only there for you, the designer. Nobody else gets to see it. It is now a template to help you create the design. All right, next up, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go down to this plus in my layers panel. I'm going to go down to plus. I'm going to double click layer 2 and type in crop marks. Hit enter. I'm going to draw a box the exact size of the document, 16 by 9, with no fill and no stroke. I want an invisible box. I'm just going to go like that. Dude, my guides are not set up for snapping right now. So I can just go just like I did earlier. I'm going to go 16, and I'm going to go 9, and I'm going to hit enter. So I have a 16 by 9, and I'm just going to go down the row. And I'm going to pop back up. Okay, don't worry. Fill, nothing. Stroke, same thing. You can hit that same nothing. You're like, why are we doing this? This is weird. Then I'm going to make sure it's perfectly centered. So I'm going to hit this. Then I'm going to hit this. Here's why. Here's the magic part. All right. Right here, there's a little FX. I'm going to click on that, and 4 down, crop marks. Now, crop marks are going to magically appear on your document. These are used when your document goes to print. Your documents always need crop marks, so the printer knows where the edge of your artboard is. That is why it's very important. From here on out, and as a graphic designer, you will always be creating a margin. You will always be creating bleed marks, and you'll always be creating crop marks. There we go. Now, just like the other ones, I'm going to lock that. Lock the crop marks layer when complete. Then I'm going to hit a plus, and I'm going to type in the plus for a layer. I'm going to cut titles. Lock that. I'm going to do a plus and call it images. You could call it examples if you wanted to be wordier. And then background. Now we have all those in. The final thing is adjust layer order. Move the margin layer to the top of the list. Move the crop marks layer below the margin. So the other way to think about this is, what is the order of these layers of glass that we've created in Illustrator? So the margin, this needs to be at the very top. And this only works, I'll watch it when I open this document, because you're going to include this document for me now. I want to see the Illustrator and the PDF. So I'm going to look at it and be like, oh, you didn't do a template. You didn't do this. So it goes margin, crop marks, and then background is last. Titles and images can kind of be where you want, but I would maybe do titles, images, background. And your document should look like this. And then you start putting in your images. So you place images. So if I go to images, I'm going to use the Paula Scher one. Go to File, Place. And again, I'm just using Paula because I have it. You know how to search for images and you know how to get images, but I'm going to show you something about the images, and it's a little bit difficult. It's cropping. Cropping is not as easy in Illustrator. I do not know why they don't make it easier. So I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to go to Paula. And just for this, I'm going to grab this example. And I'm going to hit place. Now, what did I do wrong? So when I place this, I cannot see my image, which means something happened on my margin and the fill went back to that. And all I have to do is correct it and then work away. Like I said, I've showed you guys that before. Like mine, I don't know what's glitchy about this system, that it doesn't do it at my house. It only does it on this computer. It's very weird. So then I have my image. And just like we've learned, if I want to image at a different size, I'm going to hold down the Shift button to constrain it. We never, ever change the size outside of holding down Shift. We can line it up wherever we want. I want view, snap to grid. So we can move it where we want and have some fun. Here's the thing about cropping with Illustrator is you actually need to create a crop box. So say for some dumb reason, I only wanted this guy's face. To crop it, I need to create a new rectangle and say I want it like his face. And that rectangle can be like, the rectangle can be anything. So I'm going to be like, here it is. I have a rectangle around his face. You then need to select both the rectangle and the background image and go to Object, clipping mask and make. And then that clipped it out. Then what you can do, the funny part is you can go and grab the direct select tool and actually maneuver him in there as you feel fit. Sorry, snap the pixel. It was a little bit too jumpy. So that may take some practice, but I wanted to show you how to do that. So if you can, in the beginning, just find images that aren't cropped. And then to get rid of it, you can go to Object, Clipping Mask. Well, you have to have it selected with the right tool. I click that, Object, Clipping Mask, and Release. And then it releases it. So text. This is, I'll call it a movie poster. When you do the text, I want you to use what is called point text, not area text. Point text simply means you get the text tool and you just simply tap once. Point text, you make a point, the text comes out, and then I call it, I'm gonna call this movie poster. All right. Then if I go and I just click on my selection tool again, right? And it's movie poster, then I can grab a corner. I can hold down Shift and make it bigger. I can change the font over here. I can change the size. I can make it centered. I can make it right, whatever fits. And then you can do the lineup like, oh, I'm gonna get the lineup right there. And we do perfect lineups and get it really nice. You have used this program for a couple weeks already. Take your time. The other one is please, oh please, if you are having troubles, just contact me. Hey, I'm not understanding this part. I will write you back what to do exactly. It's a learning curve. We have to learn it, and you learn by doing it. The other one is make sure if you want to double check that you submit it to the midweek review, and I will check it for you and be like, oh, you know, the margin or crop marks is wrong. Change this, change this, change this. And it, of course, it's never, I never say like change 12 things, but take your time, try some things out, and check out how things are working. So there you go. Again, questions, comments, concerns, just ask me. I'm here to help. You'll be doing this like nothing by the end of this. Like you'll just be like, oh yeah, yeah, because it's going to be creating the same document over and over and over. And then Thursday, we're going to be doing the same thing, but in InDesign. So from here on out, every week will be one session will be Illustrator, one session will be InDesign, and you're going to learn how to do basic document setup with image placement and some text. And that's it. And then by the time you're done with that, you're going to actually do an Illustrator poster and an InDesign pamphlet by the end of this class. And everybody does it. We all figure it out. We're just taking you step by step by step. We can do it. Just follow these step by step. Make sure you if you need to, print this out, somehow cross out each one as you do it, because we sometimes will end up, draw a box and then we skip to crop marks. And then I'm like, how can we do it all that? And you're like, oh, I missed it. I was so concerned about one thing. Print. Do whatever you need to do to get this to help you, and I will help you. You're not on your own. It's fun. This is the best part. All right. So that's value research. Value project. Doom, doom, doom. Again, as I say, open the provided Illustrator document and let's work for that. Here, we are going to create 3 monochromatic compositions using value to define the design. We're going to do what now? To who? 3 monochromatic compositions. We've learned about this. Monochromatic. It's one color from 100 to nothing. You do it by creating a spot color and then using that range to do what we need to do. I have included a very simple little illustration. Very simple, meaning anybody can do it. I made some mountains and a moon in a background. Very simple. All created with the pen tool, which you all should have experimented at one point with, and shapes, which you can experiment with. Let's do some first color experimentation, and then we will move on and I will show you, the shapes. I went through a lengthy process on what each shape does. I will go in a little more detail on the pen tool, because once you know the pen tool, your life will change. But it takes a couple tries at the pen tool to understand pulling curves, doing some other things. But once you understand it, something clicks, and then you're like, now I get it. Monochromatic. All right, so it's easiest for me to just create a box. I'm gonna hold on shift, make a square. I'm gonna do the stroke as nothing. Nothing on this should have a black stroke. I will send it back to you if I see any black lines on any of your shapes. We are working purely monochromatic, meaning one single color, and each one should have a different color. So that meaning, if this is blue, this would be green, this would be red, or whatever, purple, orange, whatever color, teal, chartreuse, 3 different ones. Now I got my white box, and I'm going to go to fill, and I'm going to go to this palette that's like a little artist palette like Bob Ross, and say I want to color, and I want to go minty green. But you should kind of start darker than you want to give yourself a bigger range. Still in green. I'm going to go like this weird mustardy color. That's my preferred color for my first composition. Here's what you do. You then click on this box right here. Click right there. That's going to open up the swatches. We want to create a swatch and make sure that it's a spot color. So then I'm going to go to the plus down here. I'm going to call it pea green, PEA. Get your head out of the gutter. And then color type, I'm going to change it to spot color. And I'm simply going to hit OK. And there it is. It arrived right there in my spot colors. It's got a dot. As I taught you before, the dot means spot. It is a spot color. Now, when I go to, I got to change this color, make sure it's a spot. Sometimes you have to click out, click back in. I now have my full tint range of that color. So then I can start creating whatever little scene I want. I can click on that, and then I go to the color, and I'm like, this should be 75, and then on this one, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it, 25. There you go. I'm working monochromatically, just like we did in the color example when I taught you how to do monochromatic there. Now, that's how you do that. Again, I have shown this lesson in color. I feel like I showed it one other time as well. Go back, rewatch this. If you want a different view of it, rewatch one of the other ones, feel free. Now, let's talk about the pen tool. The pen tool, such a crazy thing. The pen tool works by clicking and dragging. So the pen tool, if I click, I start a point. And attached to it, I'm floating in the air, just moving my mouth. I think they sometimes call that a rubber band. But it is a straight line coming out of the point. And to create a line, I click one time. Ooh, that was a sloppy click. I click one time, and that creates another line. Another point, and then point to point. And then I can continue to just click. And now, as you can see, it is filling with the color. But there's a mathematical algorithm. As you can see, it's doing this weird cut through. So it is saying that whenever I do a point, it is ending it to that point, even though I'm not necessarily done. Just let that go. But if I want zigzaggy, like I did my mountains, I just need to come eventually below and close that off. Now, what I wanted you to see there is if I click, 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 and I come back around, watch my cursor, a little circle appears. What is it? What do you think that means? That circle is a shape. I am going from creating a line with a fill, because that's all this is. Right now it's a line with a fill. And once I do this, that circle appears saying you have now created a solid shape. Oh, pretty tricky. Now you can bounce around and do whatever you want, create whatever shapes you want, but I want you to go the extra step. And this is where things get hard and where you need to practice. I want a curve. So I'm going to click once. And then here, I'm going to click and hold. And then I'm going to drag. And what happens is you get what are called handlebars. And what you have created is a Bezier curve. This curve is now called a Bezier curve. These two items are called a handlebar. And you can see that it wants to continue my curve. So I can go here and click. And when I click again, it goes to an angle. But I can click and drag and then kind of complete this. Now you can switch. This is where the direct select tool comes in, because you can select on your points and steer your curve with its handlebars. You either pull them out, push them in, pull it out, push it. I can steer, make it like weird. It's just kind of playing around. Now these bottom two are perfect curves. But if I click on here, there's nothing there, because this in its mind is not a curved point. I didn't drag. So there's no points there, but I can change that. This is going crazy, but I want you to practice. I can change that by going to my pen tool and holding down. And when I hold down, I get this anchor point tool, the little upside down V. If I use that and click and drag, I can turn that back into a curve. Or if I simply take this, it should be called like the anchor point conversion tool. If I click once here, it took what was a curve and made it into points. It doesn't seem like it, but that's a single point. Or I can click on that again and pull, click and drag, and pull that out. It is a little crazy. It's a little weird, but it's a lot of fun. And it takes some practice. There'll be a frustration level you will hit. Let me tell you, just like contact me. If it's 10:30 at night, Google Pen Tool Illustrator, hit return, and go to one of these Adobe Help Center. Draw shapes and paths with the pen tool. This video, it starts with this, and it shows you, and sometimes there's like a 1-minute video included. Go back, and then do this 11 minutes. Master the pen tool in 10 minutes. Just do that. You know, you can ask me. I'm happy to help, but I feel like most of you guys do your homework at like 10:30 at night. So I am not around at 10:30, but play around. Now, again, I want 3 compositions. I'm hitting the wrong thing. 3 different compositions using 3 different colors, only monochromatic color with not a single touch of black in there. No black outlines. Black outlines are for amateurs. You are professionals. You entered professionalism when you started this course 3 weeks ago. Have some fun. Think outside the box. And here's the crazy part. Here's the one I'll tell you. This is 3 tones. It is the darkest is that. The second is this. And the third is this. It's just three colors. The moon is the same color as these. It's been a while. This is all, these are supposed to be spot colors. It's all, old files sometimes get a little weird, and that's why these are no longer showing up as spot colors. Too many versions have happened since I built this. I have to rebuild it with the newer configurations. But it is only three. It's one. It's like, I think it's 50, 100, 50, 25. And I was able to create a twilight scene with the moon and some mountains. Nice and simple. I've seen some crazy ones. Have some fun, play around, try some different things. And for all the assignments now, make sure you are uploading both submission, upload both your AI and PDF files. I always want both. So any questions, comments, or concerns before I let you go for the day and have you discover value as it pertains to graphic design? All right, awesome. Have fun. Let me know if you have questions and comments. Just send me notes, messages, emails, whatever it may be. I'm here to help out. Thank you very much. And I will talk to you Thursday when we go over space. Not like that. Space as it pertains to graphic design. All right. Bye-bye.